felt that? Do you feel like you belong here on this team?
Obviously, I think overall as a player, I feel like I put in the work. I feel like everything I do, I try to do it to my best, and that's all I ask for. So I feel like everybody feels like they should be on the team. And if you ask anybody on the team, would they feel like they belong? They belong, in their own eyes. So I feel like I do, but I'm my own player. I think about myself in a high regard, of course. So
The NFL just pulled off a move so wild, it sounds like something out of a sports movie. But this time, it's all too real. The league's own CEO reportedly stormed into the Browns' office and straight up confronted the owner, demanding he put Shedeur Sanders on the field, no questions asked. Forget playbooks, forget depth charts. This was pure chaos with a billionaire twist. When power and ego collide at the top, it hits harder than a blindside sack on 4th down. The Cleveland Browns, man, they're like that one kid in gym class who's got heart but keeps tripping over their own shoelaces. Every season, fans start to hope again, whispering maybe this year's different, only to watch it collapse in spectacular fashion. It's almost impressive how consistently they find new ways to fumble their own story. Over 2 decades of quarterback rotations, one after another, like a reality show called America's Next Top Interception Thrower. So when whispers broke that the NFL's CEO had marched right into Cleveland HQ, pointing a finger and saying, "You're playing Shedeur Sanders, end of discussion," nobody blinked. It didn't even feel shocking anymore. It felt inevitable, because if there's one franchise that screams, "Help me," louder than any other, it's the same one that once believed Johnny Manziel was their messiah. Think about it. The NFL might be a multi-billion-dollar machine, but it still needs every franchise to shine. And right now, the Browns are that struggling location tanking the brand's reviews. The fans are tired. The games feel cursed, and even the dog pound looks like it's lost its bark. So what does the league do? It drops its golden wild card, Shedeur Sanders, the flashy, fearless kid who could finally drag Cleveland out of the mud and into primetime relevance. This isn't just football anymore. It's survival. And if the rumors are true, the league just made its boldest gamble yet. Let's be real. If the NFL wanted a storyline ripped straight from a Hollywood script, Shedeur Sanders is the script.
They're not conspiring to sabotage somebody who, by the way, would be great for the league. And he is great for the league because the league wants eyeballs on it. There is no reason they would be trying to conspire against him and sabotage him. He all goes on to say, I think he has a higher ceiling. He's a great playmaker. He was tremendously accurate. He has the feel when he's in the game and how to make the big plays. But just because you have the ceiling that's really high and the potential to be able to do that doesn't mean you could.
He's not just a quarterback, he's Deion Sanders' son, the center of a media storm so loud it could drown out a halftime show. College football broadcasts practically turned into full-on Colorado Buffaloes infomercials every time he took the field. He's got that magic mix: charisma, swagger, confidence, and a highlight reel that plays like a trailer for the next sports blockbuster. Now put that next to the Browns' usual quarterback carousel, guys who flame out faster than a TikTok trend, and suddenly you understand why the NFL's CEO was sweating through his designer suit, begging the Browns owner to make the move. Picture the room: a high-stakes boardroom showdown that feels less like a meeting and more like a corporate cage match. The Browns owner, arms crossed, probably muttered, last I checked, I own this team." And the NFL CEO just smiled like a villain in a soap opera and said, "That's cute, but ratings own you." You can almost see the steam rising as the tension builds. The CEO slams his metaphorical playbook on the table, eyes burning, voice echoing. Enough is enough! America doesn't want another Cleveland collapse. They want Shedeur. The scene sounds so wild you half expect Vince McMahon's theme song to blast through the speakers while the interns duck for cover. And honestly, he's not wrong. The Browns have tried everything: drafting, trading, overpaying, rinse and repeat. Every quarterback cycle ends the same way: disappointment, and memes. Meanwhile, Shedeur carries that chosen one aura, the kind of star power that makes networks drool and sponsors line up before the ink dries. Because let's face it, ESPN doesn't care about Cleveland's offensive line holding up for 3 seconds. They care about the spectacle.
Somebody said it yesterday, Bull, and I'm surprised you didn't double down on this. I loved it. I was at home. I couldn't really speak like I want to, but you said, hey, if I'm the Browns, you take Travis Hunter. And guess what? If Shedeur Sanders falls below a certain position, you trade back up and you go take him too. I'll take both of them.
Yeah,
I mean, people say it's far-fetched, but if you're the Cleveland Browns, I mean, you've already said it's going to take a couple years to get this thing back up and moving. My thing is, I want to get super uber.
The camera panning to Deion Sanders in the VIP box, rocking those signature shades, flashing that knowing grin like he's already seen the ending. But make no mistake that this chaos isn't just about football anymore. It's about control, power, and the league's desperate fight to keep the story alive. Oh no, this isn't just about football anymore. This is about business, ratings, and image. The NFL wants to look like it's always 10 steps ahead, always trending, always the main event. Because if the Browns somehow miss out on Shedeur Sanders' debut while every other team is going viral on TikTok, that's not just bad football, that's bad marketing.
I love Joe T. And I know that Joe T is in Cleveland. He's out there. He's amongst the people. So he knows the pulse a little bit. And for me, I think it's more of the managers, the general manager, the owners and things trying to just chill the noise. They understand that they have Shedeur. They're just really trying to start Joe Flacco right now because he's just a consecutive vet. You know what you're going to get.
The league doesn't care about playbooks right now. They care about headlines, hashtags, and headlines that print money. So when the CEO cornered the Browns owner, this wasn't a talk about X's and O's. It was about Q's and A's, as in questions from shareholders and answers for advertisers who all know the same truth. Shedeur equals clicks, views, and cash. Every highlight, every camera flash, every sideline smirk turns into dollar signs. The Browns fans, they're just collateral damage again. Loyal, hopeful, and stuck watching billionaires play chess with their favorite team. The thought of the NFL's CEO barging into Cleveland HQ demanding, "Put Shedeur in now," doesn't even sound shocking anymore. It sounds like just another Tuesday in Cleveland. Because let's be honest, Shedeur Sanders isn't just a quarterback. He's a brand, a walking, talking marketing machine dressed in shoulder pads. The man doesn't walk into stadiums. He struts, gold chains catching the lights, luxury cars rolling up like music videos, designer shades hiding that poker face. He makes Joe Namath look like he was shopping with coupons at a thrift store. And the NFL, they love it. They eat it up like it's a Super Bowl buffet because this is what the modern league thrives on. Spectacle.
You know, we talk oftentimes about quarterback being the most important position in the sport. We obviously spend a lot of time with Shedeur throughout the process. He's highly accurate, can play well from the pocket, very productive college career. And, we felt like it wasn't necessarily the plan going into the weekend to select 2 quarterbacks, but as we talk about, we do believe in best player available. We do believe in positional value, and we didn't necessarily expect him to be available in the 5th round, and so
they don't want another faceless, quiet quarterback who throws for 175 yards and 1 sad touchdown. That's old school. That's Cincinnati in the 90s. The NFL now runs on drama, flash, and quarterbacks who trend on Twitter before the first snap even hits the turf. And Shedeur, he's built for it, like he was engineered for the spotlight. He's got the legacy, the swagger, the aura. One Instagram story and suddenly every sports outlet scrambles like he just broke a record. When's the last time Cleveland had that kind of electricity? Never. The closest they came was Baker Mayfield filming insurance commercials while trying to figure out how to throw a 5-yard slant. Now, with Shedeur in the picture, the league smells a ratings goldmine, and Cleveland's the stage. And then there's Deion, Coach Prime himself. The NFL knows the truth. Wherever Shedeur goes, Deion goes too. They're a package deal. charisma, controversy, and cameras included. That's exactly why the NFL's CEO reportedly lost it. In his mind, this isn't about Shedeur learning the system. It's about becoming the system. Forget development, forget patience, just throw the kid on the field and let the ratings explode. He could fumble 3 snaps in a row and ESPN would still play it back with cinematic music like he just revolutionized the sport.
League decided it didn't like how Shedeur interviewed. He said some things he should not have said, and he will tell you that to this day. I got a little carried away. But he's as tough a kid, tough a quarterback as I've ever seen. His arm is at least as good as Brady's. It's Brady-esque.
You guys act like a 5th-round pick is a punishment.
Okay.
It's not. It's an opportunity. I've never seen anybody talk this much about a 5th-round pick, ever.
Because he's not a real 5th-round pick. That show you right there. I wish we could have the owners here and, you know what I'm saying, get them real liquored up. I might spill the beans.
But here's where it gets hilarious. The Browns owner isn't exactly the type to roll over. Billionaires hate being told what to do, especially by other billionaires. It's like trying to tell a cat to stay off the counter. It's going to jump up there just to prove a point. So now you've got this heavyweight showdown. The NFL CEO pounding the table yelling, "Put in Shedeur!" While the Browns owner crosses his arms muttering, "Not if it makes you happy." Pure chaos. Billionaire ego warfare in real time. Meanwhile, the networks, FOX, ESPN, CBS, they're circling above like vultures waiting for the first juicy headline to drop. Because this isn't just football anymore.
Strained an oblique throwing Wednesday morning, according to the team, and was held out of first day of joint practices with the Eagles. Sanders is considered day-to-day, won't practice today, unlikely to play in the preseason game versus the Eagles Saturday. His injury is the...
It's primetime television, a full-blown power struggle between the NFL's top dog and one of its most stubborn owners. That's not a game, that's an entire series. You can already hear the documentary trailer voiceover, from chaos to kickoff, the battle for Shedeur. Oh, it's coming. Cameras ready, sponsors drooling, drama guaranteed. And let's not forget the poor Browns quarterback stuck in the middle of this circus. They're probably pacing in the locker room right now, Googling how to request a trade politely while side-eyeing every practice rep. Imagine walking into work and realizing the league itself doesn't even want you there. It's like your boss calling the company CEO just to tell you you're replaceable. Brutal. But the NFL doesn't care. Because in this league, emotions don't sell. Entertainment does. The league sees Shedeur Sanders as a gold mine, and they're not about to let something as trivial as team autonomy get in the way of cashing in. This is the same NFL that once tried to ban touchdown dances for being too fun. So do you really think they'd hesitate to strong-arm a struggling franchise if it meant skyrocketing ratings?
Latest in a string of ailments that have impacted the Browns quarterback room. S.A., I'll start with you. What does this injury mean for Shedeur?
Well, to me, it's a setback. Just my personal opinion. Not a negative against him in any way, but I thought the momentum from his performance against the Carolina Panthers was something that he was going to be able to ride, even when he was still left as number 4.
Please, the irony couldn't be richer. The Cleveland Browns, a franchise famous for self-destruction, now have the NFL's own CEO stepping in like, "You're so bad at this that I have to manage the team for you?" It's like your boss suddenly deciding you can't even handle the office stapler and taking over your desk. Humiliating, sure, but painfully on brand for Cleveland. The city of heartbreak just found a new way to trend. Corporate babysitting at its finest. So now we've got the ultimate chaos cocktail, Shedeur Sanders, the walking hype machine, an NFL CEO desperate to turn Cleveland into primetime TV, and an owner who probably wants to crawl under his $50,000 desk every time his phone vibrates. Picture it, the Browns owner sitting smug, stubborn, and calm, swirling a drink that costs more than a used car, pretending he's unbothered. Then, bam! The NFL CEO storms in, red-faced, moving like a man who just binge-watched Shark Tank and took notes on every power play. The tension is electric, the room thick with ego and money. The message, crystal clear.
The Browns. This is the most hype they've ever had. Like, it's the Browns.
Exactly.
So, he got drafted to the wrong team. That Sanders name, I'm telling you right now, there's only one person that understands business, and he will trade his quarterback for Sanders. Dallas is where Sanders is gonna be.
Wow.
Because that name on the back of that jersey is legacy, and he's gonna want that to ring bells around the globe. Jerry is gonna have.
The NFL doesn't just want Shedeur on that field, they need him there. The future of their brand might just depend on it. But the Browns owner? Oh, he's not budging an inch. Billionaires don't take orders, they give them. You can practically see him leaning back in his leather chair, cufflinks glinting, voice smooth with arrogance as he says something slick like, I bought this team so I could ruin it my way. Meanwhile, the CEO's pacing the room like a frustrated dad at Chuck E. Cheese, muttering about ratings, sponsors, and TikTok demographics. It's madness with a dress code, and the league can't look away. At this point, you half expect the NFL CEO to roll in a projector and start a full-blown business presentation. Pie charts, graphs, PowerPoint slides, all proving one thing. Shedeur Sanders' Instagram engagement rate is higher than the Browns' entire offense. Imagine that, a massive slide lighting up the room with bold letters saying, "This kid prints money." The CEO's veins are popping with passion, while across the table the Browns owner is probably doodling on a napkin, pretending to care, thinking about his next golf trip. But here's the real twist. While these billionaires are going to war over his name, Shedeur is probably somewhere else entirely. Laid back, surrounded by designer jewelry, sipping something fancy, maybe posting a cryptic tweet like timing is everything, and boom, the entire sports world loses its mind. He doesn't even have to be in the room. The hype does all the heavy lifting for him. The man breathes and social media turns into a frenzy. Meanwhile, fans start catching whiffs of the rumors, and that's when the internet goes nuclear. X, floods with memes of the Browns logo wearing shades, TikTok edits of Shedeur's college highlights set to dramatic orchestra music, and Facebook posts from Cleveland uncles saying things like, "This kid better save us or I'm moving to Cincinnati."
As to why that is. With a Kenny Pickett, with a Dylan Gabriel, both hampered, right? Joe Flacco is a given. We understand where he's at this point in time in his career and what he means to the Browns. He's their security blanket who would probably start at the start of the season because he's your QB1 for the moment. But we looked at Shedeur Sanders, and then I'm thinking about, okay, you got joint practices with the Eagles, and then you got a game this Saturday night against the Eagles. And if you're going up against the reigning defending Super Bowl champions, whether it's against a second or a third unit, but you look as good, if not better, than you did against the Carolina Panthers last weekend, that would be something that would really, really be good for him. The fact that he's now hurt and he's not going to be able to play in all likelihood this weekend, to me, is a setback in that regard. Again, not a negative, fellas. It's just that I thought momentum was in his favor coming into this weekend, and now that has been.
The chaos spreads like wildfire. What started as a private boardroom battle has turned into a full-blown national spectacle. You'd think the NFL would try to keep something like this under wraps, but come on. Leaks in Cleveland happen faster than blown fourth-quarter leads. By the time the confrontation wraps up, every sports talk show is already screaming about it. Debate tables are on fire. Should the NFL even have this kind of power? Is it fair to force-feed a rookie into chaos? Will this actually make the Browns watchable for once? And here's the funniest part. For all the noise, the hype, and the hashtags, nobody actually knows if Shedeur can even survive behind that paper-thin Browns offensive line without being folded like a lawn chair. But that's not the point, and the NFL CEO knows it. This isn't about wins or losses anymore. It's about views. It's about buzz. It's about keeping the league trending no matter what. Cleveland might not win games, but they'll win headlines. And in today's NFL, that's almost better.
Shedeur up to fail.
We go!
Check it out. Yesterday it was announced that Shedeur Sanders will be the starter versus the Carolina Panthers Friday night, but people have a theory that they're really setting him up to fail. And this all started when Louis Riddick said this a couple days ago.
I'm afraid he's going to get on the field in preseason games without a lot of practice reps, and then they're going to ask him to perform these heroic tasks in order to prove that he's worthy of being a starter when he hasn't had enough reps to really get comfortable. That's the kind of battle he's dealing with right now. I know. I've seen it. Dom, you've seen it. We've been in these camps. We know how that...
The second word leaked that the CEO supposedly cornered the Browns owner and demanded Shedeur take the field. The entire football world detonated. Forget stats. Forget highlights. This was drama served hot, and everyone wanted a taste. This story didn't just break. It took over the entire sports world. Suddenly, shows that usually spend half their airtime debating chicken wing flavors were now screaming about NFL interference like it was Watergate, only this time with helmets and Gatorade bottles. Commentators were red-faced, microphones shaking, fans glued to their screens like it was a courtroom drama. The other half of analysts rolled their eyes, saying, "We've seen this movie before," because in Cleveland, the ending always seems to be heartbreak, cheap beer, and another sad Sunday in a parking lot. Outside Cleveland, the reaction was just as chaotic. Rival fans didn't hold back. They roasted the Browns mercilessly. Social media was on fire with jokes like, "The Browns are so bad the CEO had to come down and babysit." And at this point, Cleveland's mascot should be a participation trophy. The internet had no mercy, and Cleveland became the league's favorite.
I'm going to answer this question by saying Shedeur Sanders. And I'm going to tell you why. I think he's being set up to fail. That's right, I'm going to say it.
Okay.
Here we are on national television, right? There's been 11 practices, if I remember correctly. He's been starting against he's been playing against the third unit. He's fourth on the depth chart. And then suddenly you throw him into the start lineup, and he hasn't had any reps with the first team at all. Think about that. So you're just gonna throw him to the wolves like that, huh? I mean, you know, if he had first team snaps in practice, I don't say that, but he doesn't, and then all of a sudden he's starting tomorrow night. It's like you want him to fail. I'm not accusing the coaches of doing this. I'm not accusing the GM of doing this, but that owner, Mr. Haslam, that's a different animal, right?
Punchline yet again. But inside the locker room, oh, that's where things got real messy. Imagine being the Browns' starting quarterback, grinding through brutal practices, memorizing playbooks, taking hits, only to wake up to headlines screaming, "NFL wants you benched for Shedeur Sanders." That's not motivation, that's humiliation in cleats. The tension in that room must have been thicker than the Cleveland fog. You just know those poor guys were throwing side eyes during warm-ups, silently fuming, secretly Googling how to request a trade mid-season between drills. Every pass felt heavier, every whisper louder. That locker room turned into a full-blown soap opera. Jealousy, pride, and paranoia all simmering under fluorescent lights. But here's the plot twist. The controversy didn't hurt the NFL. It boosted it. Ratings projections shot through the roof. Merchandise sales for Shedeur. Themed Browns gear exploded before the kid even touched the turf. Cleveland hadn't even snapped the ball and the league was already cashing in. And that's the genius and the madness of it all. The NFL figured out ages ago that it's not just a sport anymore, it's reality TV with shoulder pads. Every season has heroes, villains, redemption arcs, and jaw-dropping scandals. The Patriots had Deflategate, the Raiders had Antonio Brown's helmet meltdown, and now the Browns, they've got their own blockbuster, a CEO storming in like a corporate Batman demanding his star rookie take the field. They play the Golden Boy card, and it's ridiculous, over the top, and absolutely perfect for TV. That's what keeps fans glued to the screen. Because let's be real, people don't just tune in for football anymore. They want drama. They want chaos. They want to argue with strangers online and feel like they're watching something bigger than a game. And Shedeur Sanders, with his swagger, shine, and celebrity baggage, delivers exactly that every single time.
Louis Riddick said that just yesterday. It was announced that Shedeur Sanders will be the starter versus the Carolina Panthers, but people still was wondering, is this a legit shot or is some fishy going on? Well, today, Browns insider Mary Kay Cabot tweeted this out. Browns Kevin Stefanski said, by any large, we're going to rest our starters Friday night versus the Panthers. Shedeur will work with some 2s and 3s versus the Panthers starters.
Damn.
Now, you had the Louis Riddick clip with somebody who's very well respected in NFL. Now you have a Browns insider saying, look, Shedeur isn't even going to play in the game.
He's not just playing the sport, he's starring in it. But here's where things get wild. It opens up the question nobody wants to answer. How much control does the league really have? If the CEO can allegedly pressure a team to play one guy, what's next? Are we headed for a future where the NFL just assigns quarterbacks like it's fantasy football, or scripts endings like WWE? Imagine Roger Goodell stepping up to a podium saying, for ratings purposes, the Browns will win the Super Bowl this year. At this point, would anyone even be shocked? Probably not. And that's the scary beauty of it. Cleveland might finally matter, just not in the way they hoped. The Browns are stuck exactly where they've always been, somewhere between desperation and delusion. A team so hilariously cursed that their path to relevance might actually depend on a corporate executive storming in and forcing their hand. It's tragic, it's comedic, and honestly, it's the most Cleveland thing imaginable. Because when the lights fade and the headlines settle, the truth is simple. The NFL doesn't need the Browns to win championships. It just needs them to matter. And thanks to Shedeur Sanders, the hype machine, and a CEO with zero chill, they finally do. So, what do you think? Did the NFL cross the line or just save the Browns from themselves? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button, subscribe for more wild stories, share this with your football crew, and I'll see you on the next one.